All right, in this video, we are going to create your first activities and announcements in Seesaw. So let's get started. Now, we're going to explore, first off, the two ways that you can share things with students. What are they? The announcements versus activities. We're actually going to go into great detail with creating an activity. We're going to talk about providing feedback and how you can share student work with each other, with others in an announcement. So, all right, two ways to share with students. You can hit this thing, which is post students work, and basically that's a message so that some or all of your students can see it. It doesn't require a student response. It's just basically sharing announcement. I don't want to say the word announcement because that's announcements down here, but it's sharing good news with either some of your students or your whole class. For example, you can say, hey, look what Martina did. It's wonderful. I just wanted to share her beautiful artwork with everybody. Assigning an activity is basically an assignment that requires students to respond. All right, so those are the two kinds of ways that a teacher can share stuff with students. Let's go into greater detail. So first, posting student work. When you click on that link, you're going to get this wonderful window. There's some stuff you can do. You can, if you want, you could just post something. It doesn't even have to be student work. In this case, let's say we're going to click on a photo, and then there's the picture of me as the teacher. And you'll notice there's a whole bunch of opportunities to click on something to take that picture. Because if you're holding the iPad, sometimes one button is more convenient than the other based on where your thumb is. This happens to be on my computer, on my desktop, so it didn't really matter. But it kind of comes in handy when you are using an iPad. And then once you've taken the picture, there's a couple of ways you can add multimedia. And go ahead and just click those buttons and add things to it. And then once you've got your little announcement, that little sharing thing the way you want it, you click the classic green checkbox thing, and that saves it. And then you click that green thing again, and that's where you choose who is going to receive this good news. Are you going to choose all your students, or are you going to choose just some of your students? I generally share stuff with all of my students, don't I? And then once I've selected the students, I'm going to, of course, click on that green circle, and now it is now shared, and it's going to show up in the journal tab. It's just going to be a long river of things that I have shared with my students. All right. So now we're going to talk about assigning and creating your own activity. When you click on that, so first thing you do, you click that green plus button, then you're going to click on assign activity, and then you're going to click on this create a new activity. Now you can use the community pre-made activities, and you can always borrow other people's pre-made things, and then of course you can edit them as much as you want. But right now we're going to talk about how to create your own new activity. And really, you really want to think about, how can I be clear with my little first grader or second grader in writing my good directions? I'm going to make sure I use visual cues like emojis and icons, and I'm going to show you how to use shortcuts to do that. I'm almost always going to augment my written directions with an audio recorded directions of me reading the directions, and sometimes I'll add multimedia like a video or some drawing to enhance the explanation of what I want students to do. And that fifth one is, I have to give the students a reason, like, why are they doing this? And that's kind of the classic 5 things that we need to do. This is actually going to help students with respect to universal design for learning. When we give these clear step-by-step directions, when we give these visual cues and include it with audio, we are just giving students multiple reasons for engagement, and we're also providing multiple representations of the information that we're providing. Seesaw makes it so easy for students, for the teacher to do UDL. So anyway, I'm going to click that. What did I do? I said, okay, I'm going to click create new activity right there. And once I've clicked that create new activity, I get this wonderful window. I'm going to give it a title. I might include a template that the students are going to write on with their Chromebooks or their iPads, not paper. They're going to write on it with their finger if they have an iPad or a phone, or they can write on it with their mouse if they are using a Chromebook, or they can use their finger if it's a touchscreen Chromebook. And then lastly, I'm going to type in my directions using those shortcuts for icons and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to make sure I augment those directions with some of these features, maybe a photo or a drawing or a video. Maybe I'll upload a sample student work from a previous year, or a link to a video that they can watch. This is a video that I would make. And this is a video like a link to a website, or maybe it's a link to YouTube or some other resource. I'm definitely also going to click this Add Voice Instructions, because I almost always read the directions, especially for my English language learners. And here's the icons that I was telling you about. So you're going to use a colon, and then you're going to write the text shortcut, and then you're going to follow it with a colon. And when you do that, your directions might end up looking like this. These are the instructions, and then I've got this colon, seesaw, colon kind of a thing. And you see, I'm just throwing in some examples. And when you save your directions, it's going to end up looking like this. So here are the resulting icons for the shortcuts that I used. Once you've created your assignment, it's looking beautiful. It's right over here. It's got the UDL principles because I'm using words and pictures and audio and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to click Assign, and I'm going to choose which class. But I can also choose specific students if I wish. I am going to also consider putting this assignment in a specific folder to keep things organized. It's just a way to tag things as math or ELA or science or social studies. And then I can also attach skills to it for future assessment. But right now, I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to click Assign to the one class, and it now shows up in the Activities tab right here. Now, what is the student going to see? So now we're taking a look at this from a student's point of view. So this is good old Alina, love Alina, and she's going to click Add Response. And in this directions, I gave her a choice, right? Let's say I gave her a choice. She can choose anything. She chooses drawing because a lot of kids love choosing their drawing. And then so she's doing some work, and she's showing her thinking, and I love it. And then she's going to click that green checkbox up there again in the upper right-hand corner. And on my side, I'm not going to see her work immediately, because right now I'm just seeing the sample work. But I'm going to see that there is now one unapproved post. Nothing gets posted from the student's work. No student work gets posted until the assignment that the students have done is approved by me. So I'm always going to be looking for things that need to be approved by me. And so I'm going to click on that review. And when I click on that review, it pulls up Alina's work. I can either approve it, delete it, or send it back for revision. If I want, I could just approve the entire class all at once with a single button. But more importantly, one of the key features of good remote learning is the quality and the quantity of feedback we provide our students. Seesaw makes that super easy. I can click on the like button, I can click on comments, and I can just provide for her feedback. Now, what's really kind of cool is I'm still on the teacher side, and I'm going to see that assignment still. But now I'm going to see that I have 2 responses. I have 0 that are waiting for approval, 0 drafts, and 29 students who have not responded. Now, when I click on this gray area, I can see all of my students. Here's the 2 students who've already responded and had their submissions approved. I can see that no other students have submitted an assignment that's waiting for approval, but it would show up over here. Little labels would say needs approval or something like that. I can't quite remember. Or maybe it says review. I can't remember what it says. But I can see good old Alina, and if I wanted to click on it, it would open it up again, and I can always add more feedback at any time. In this case, you could see me saying, Alina, great job on showing 2 methods. Well done. And that's the comment. You click that by making that comment. Now, the 3 dots way over there, if I want, this is really powerful, I can use this share item. And when I do that, I'm going to highlight the share code, and then I'm going to send that share code in an announcement. So if I see some students who've done some particularly good work, I'm going to make sure I share that with all the students and help everybody elevate their game. And that is how you make announcements and assignments or activities.